Oh, I didn't see you there. Anyway, welcome to Whale Talk. That was the whale speaking. To you. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Fancy Fan Fiction. And let's get it going! On tonight's episode of Fancy Fan Fiction, we are going to be reading What a Wonderful Caricature of Intimacy,
a Brallon fanfic
by Lost Evenings. You can find her on Tumblr. Oh my god. That was not scripted. Okay, here we go.
Tonight, he intended on getting drunk enough to be able to share a hotel room with Brendan without wanting to kill him. Sighing at the thought of sharing another torturous night with sighing at the thought of sharing another torturous night with the singer who had been chasing him, he went to take a long, affirming swig from the bottle, only to have it cut short by a pair of arms snaking around his waist. Dallin looked down. One of the hands resting in front was holding his glass. He snatched it, wiggling out of Brendan's grip, and walked back over to his spot in the chair by the window, glass and bottle in hand.
Brendan was quick to follow his prey and quickly grabbed the items out of his hands as the taller man was sitting down. He sat them down on the table and climbed back onto Dallin's lap, straddling him so he could face him.
Dallin,
he purred, running his finger along his jawline. Dallin closed his eyes, not wanting to submit to him, but getting closer and closer in doing so, as his head began to fog. Whether this was Brendan or the wine, he didn't know, but he couldn't help but feel his heartbeat speed up as he opened his eyes, locking them with Brendan.
The corners of Brendan's lips upturned into a smirk, and he leaned in close to Dallin, his breath cascading over his lips, when he then closed the distance between them. You know what that means? At first, the kiss was gentle, as if testing out the feel for their lips on each other's, but it soon got more heated. Dallin's hands moved up and tangled in Brendan's hair, giving it a sharp, sudden tug. Brendan breathed a slight moan against Dallin and parted his lips, colliding his tongue with Dallin's.
Soon their embrace became nothing but a frantic clash of spit, skin, and sweat, as both shirts were discarded hastily into a pile to the floor. Dallin decided to take control and grab Brendan's thighs tightly, standing and practically throwing the smaller man down onto the shitty hotel bed.
I'm just imagining Dallin like
a
monster, like and Brendan's just along for the ride, like positive hardcore music. Anyways,
Dallin stared at Brendan hungrily and licked his lips as he climbed over him, straddling his hips with his own. It soon dawned on Dallin that their cocks were separated by 4 meager layers of cotton, and he began to grind slowly against Brendan as they kissed. Brendan let out a throaty moan that Dallin echoed back against his lips as the friction increased.
That's what it sounded like. Dallin's lips traveled down, leaving long kisses from Brendan's jaw, down his neck, to his collarbone. He grasped the bone between his teeth and smirked as Brendan let out a gasp. Dallin.
Brendan hissed, trying not to show how much he loved it.
Okay. Dallin released his grip on Brendan's collarbone, but at the last second, caught a bit of skin. He bit and sucked on it feverishly until a reddish-purple mark, a desperately prominent one, appeared on his skin. That's a hickey.
Oh, excuse me. Dallin continued moving his lips down Brendan's chest, stopping along the way to stopping along the way to quickly, almost teasingly, play with his nipples. Are you okay? Brendan squirmed every time Talon's teeth came in contact with his chest, only making the fact that Brendan's jeans were constricting even more obvious as his hips jutted outward against Talon's stomach.
How's your stomach feel, baby? The meager amount of friction made Brendan seethe beneath Dallin. He wanted more, so much more, and Dallin's teasing only made it worse. The way Dallin's eyes met Brendan's as his teeth slowly dragged across his skin made Brendan want to scream. He wanted to pin Dallin down and fuck him animalistically in a bout of pure primal instinct. Dallin could feel this tension. He felt the friction bouncing between them in the air, and he absolutely loved every second of it.
What exactly do you want, Brendan?
Dallin smirked, leaning down, his face merely centimeters away from Brendan's. For you to fuck me, please!
Dallin's smirk grew. He knew Brendan loved this. He'd always assumed from his bold, outgoing nature that Brendan would want to be the one in control, but it was quite the opposite. And Dallin absolutely had no problem with dominating him. Well, I just may be able to do that, Brenny.
He ruffled Brendan's hair and inwardly laughed when Brendan let out a sigh of relief. Brendan's mind was so consumed by his urge to get off, he didn't even notice that Dallin had used his obnoxious nickname. Dallin slid his own boxers off and positioned his cock at Brendan's entrance. And positioned his cock at Brendan's entrance, lingering there for a second before pushing in slowly. Control. Brendan moaned and wrapped his arms around Dallin's midsection, his nails lightly pressing into his back. Dallin gripped Brendan's hips and let out a low moan as he hastened his pace. Dallin kissed Brendan feverishly, catching his bottom lip between his teeth and chewing on it as he pulled away. His lips brushed against. What was that?
I don't know, that was kind of creepy. Was that a gunshot?
No, it wasn't a gunshot. It was like a door opening or something.
Oh, whatever. I can get over it.
His lips brushed against his jaw as he moved down to his neck, leaving small kisses and nips behind his ear.
All the while, Brendan was moaning softly into Dallin's ear, pushing his hips forward, rubbing his cock against Dallin's.
Sorry. That was me this time.
Rubbing his cock against Dallin's stomach to relieve some of the ache it had encountered from Dallin. Purposefully ignoring it, suddenly Brendan cried out in pleasure, and Dallin smirked against his neck. He kept his thrusts focused on Brendan's spot, making him quiver and shake every time he slammed into it.
Dallin, Brendan moaned, his hands moving up and tangling into Dallin's hair. I'm close. Brendan bit his lip. Do you like my Brendan impression?
I'm close.
Brendan bit his lip hard as Dallin reached his hand down to stroke Brendan's cock in time with his thrusts. Dallin could feel himself getting close as well and sped up, now unable to suppress his moans. Dallin let out a string of grunts and groans against the skin of Brendan's neck and shoulder, quickly muttering, "Me too!"
Well, lots of Brallon.
You know what I think is funny? Let's discuss this for a moment. That with Raiden, Brendan is the dominator, but with Brallon, seems like Dallin is the dominator.
This is a good point you make, Brittany.
It's because he's so big.
Yes.
You can't really dominate someone who's over 6 feet. Can ya?
Oh my god! You did not just say that!
Was that taboo? Was I not supposed to mention Dallin's height?
Oh my god.
Am I not supposed to mention that? Dallin's height?
It's a taboo, apparently. I didn't know that either. Anyway,
Oops.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Fancy Fan Fiction. This has been Whale Talk. I'm Haley.
I'm Brittany.
Signing off. Bitch, it's my whale!
cracked my finger.
Oh shit. What?
I found something.
What?
The one where Mycroft likes Panic at the Disco. Start singing.
Talk to the mirror, I'll choke back tears and keep telling yourself that I'm a diva.
Mycroft? Greg asked. What was going on in there?
Just happened to be laced with
Mycroft yelped.
Gregory,
What band even is that? Gregory asked, a bit confused. A light blush rose to Mycroft's cheeks.
Panic at the Disco,
He said quickly.
What? Greg asked.
Mycroft was turning a nice red now. He unlocked his phone and held it up to Greg, who squinted at the screen. Panic at the Disco?
Greg asked. What are they, pop? He asked. More alternative punk, Mycroft muttered. He was now the colour of a rose.
Greg stared incredulously for another moment before chuckling. Now I just gotta get you to listen to The Clash.
No, Mycroft replied. I will never understand why you listen to them anyway.
Oh, come on, My. It's a good band.
I disagree, Greg smiled and laughed again, planting a kiss on Mycroft's cheeks.
Love you, Mike.
I love you too. What the fuck?
It's my Strahd. But I saw it because it was the very first thing. I typed in Panic at the Disco and it was like the one where Mycroft likes Panic at the Disco. I was like,
We have to read that.
perfect. How perfect is that? Okay. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't expect the nipple play.
The nipples.
She's losing it. She's losing it.
Oh my animal instinct. Are you gonna fuck?
I think it's about to happen.
Hold on, let's skip.
No. Okay. Dallin slid his own boxers off and positioned his cock at Brendan.
Alright, I'm good. Try it again.